Everybody loves fashion. I love fashion. I am a director. You're never too old, or young, or fabulous when you begin. Welcome to Shared Life Experiences. I'm Raymond Villanueva. Yan ang maganda sa ating mga Pilipino. Halo-halo tayo. Yan ang Pinoy. Makulay ang mundo ng Pilipino. At madrama pa. Join me as we engage everyone. This is Absolutely Fabulous by Raymond. We're back, everyone! Do you like my face mask? It's my designer, Tony Galang. Tony Galang, di pala ninyo narinig ako. We're back with Zeitgeist. This is the spirit of the times. And we talk about mastery. Self-mastery is very important. My next guest is the master himself. The former president of the Fashion Designers Association of the Philippines. Culture maven. Filipino. Designer, Lito Perez. Hi, Lito! I have to put my mask on.
Hi, Raymond.
Kamusta na?
Mabuti.
We're here at the fabulous ancestral home of Vicente Noble, here in Taal. Nako, ang Taal, second home na ni Lito Perez. Aside from vegan, pagsanghan, alabak, marami na siyang place. Diba, Lito? Please say good evening to our 5 guests.
Hi, everyone, and good evening. Thank you for having me, Raymond, in your fabulous show.
Thank you, Lito. We're back here in Taal. I was telling myself, actually. The last time I was here was almost 2013.
2013, yung ating mutya ng Taal.
Homecoming namin ito. Homecoming ko with Lito Perez. Kasi when I started as a director, because Absolutely Fab is my journey. So, si Lito Perez was one of my very first clients and designer friends. And when he was president of FTAP, di ba, Lito? Maraming projects, Lito. We'll talk about Taal, but I would like to start with the most important question of the night. What makes Lito Perez Lito Perez?
That's a very hard question.
That's the only question I can ask everybody.
Well, what do you want to know? I started a regular designer a long time ago, actually. Nag 40 plus years na. I started 1979, actually.
Sige, prior to 1979, mag-start muna tayo sa pinaka-importante, when you were born. How was your childhood? I'd like people to know Lito Perez talaga. Kamusta childhood
thing,
mo?
I had a very loving family, understanding mother and father. They gave us the freedom to be who we wanted to be. Yes. Hindi kami pinilit to be anything. And if I turned out like this, it's because of the love of my parents na with their full support and understanding. Na actually, when I was growing up, ang mga kalaro ko, hindi mga cousins kong lalaki na nagbabaril-barilan. Hindi ko feel yon. Ang kalaro ko, mga sister ko, and my cousins na babae, naglalaro ko yung bahay-bahayan.
Natitiset din kayo? Yeah. Mga tiset-tiset na parang ganito?
When I was in grade 2, my dad bought me a dollhouse.
Oh, how nice!
Yes.
Oh my goodness! Why? Bakit?
Dollhouse
okay.
Pero per se, when I wanted the dollhouse, not per se because I wanted to play with dolls.
Yes.
I really liked houses.
That's very important because we'll talk about the history of your history there. So, you had a loving family, that's good to know. So, what happened in your teen years?
My teen years,
Yes.
well, high school was...
You went to LaSalle,
yes,
diba?
quiet, normal. I was lucky I was in the honor section.
Oh,
Kaya,
good.
kumbaga hindi kami ang the brunt ng mga ina-award. Hindi, tsaka my school naman is very open and
Yes.
tolerant in fairness.
Of
diba?
course.
Masaya kami.
Camino Lasal,
Yes,
diba?
diba?
Ganon yan.
Hindi. In fairness, we had a very fun and exciting high school.
Yes.
We had marami kami na barkada. And I remember because we lived very near Lasal Green Hills. Nasa North Green Hills lang kami
yes.
before when I was growing up. So it was very near to go to school. And right after school, nagpa-party, not really party, but impromptu parties kami kagad ng mga friends ko na, lalo na, in high school, kasi half day lang kami.
Yes, that's right.
Ano gagawin namin? Hindi naman kami kagad.
So, party-party.
Di ba party-party doon sa den?
Correct.
And that was the height of the Miss Universe craze also.
Correct.
Kasi 1974, nanalo si Margie Mora.
1973.
73,
Ang
di ba?
bago nyo!
Yeah, 74,
Hindi
dito
ko alam
ginawa.
Yan, everybody, nakita ko lang yun sa Google.
Nabubo ko ang mga edad. But I remember every week, every Friday after school, wala kami magawa in that little den of ours in the house. Nagpa-pageant.
Yan ang ganda, di ba? Para lang, nag-start pa tayo sa kumot?
Correct.
Kumot.
Kumot, shower curtain, tela, whatever you can find. It was very creative, actually.
And the reason I mentioned that, because, you know, Lito Perez is known for, well, we'll talk about Lito Perez as go along. If you notice, our set tonight is here in the ancestral house of the the first governor, Vicente Noble. So, it was his official residence. We call it a greenhouse. And the reason I mentioned this was, kasi lahat na nangyari nung childhood mo, yung teen years mo, at after graduation, it really made your life what it is now.
Well, looking in retrospect,
Yes.
I do believe na yung mga hilig ko noon, it just progressed to what I do now.
Okay.
Diba? Kung tutusin mo,
From the dollhouse.
From the dollhouse.
Okay.
Hindi naman per se the dolls ang gusto ko.
Yes, yes.
Gusto ko ayusin yung bahay. Natutuwa ako na it's a house which I could fix.
Now I know why.
Thinking about it, no, it's not the dolls.
Yes.
It was the furniture inside. The miniature.
See, we get so much from our childhood audience. And Lito Perez is a perfect example. Kasi you will know why he has 195 houses all over the Philippines. Sana. So wait, so you graduated. You went also to...
Yes,
you
went to
graduated.
UP.
You went to UP, yeah.
Diliman.
Okay.
I took up architecture.
Oh, now I
yes,
know from the dollhouse
diba?
na.
From the dollhouse, naisip ko, I think I want to be an architect.
Oo.
Pero, I flunked Math 17.
Everybody did that
Because
at Skolay. Nakakaloka
I
yan.
flunked it. I transferred to interior design.
Talaga?
And I enjoyed it more.
Oh.
Because it's more of the interiors ang gusto kong i-focus talaga.
So, paano ka naging designer?
Well,
Why did you become a designer?
actually, I had a shop already in high school.
Na-shock naman ako doon. Meron ka na.
Yes.
Pwede ba lumabas ang mutsis? Kasi mainit. Pero 2 meters na
Yes,
apart,
malayo
ha?
kami. Malayo.
Talaga, na-shock naman ako doon. Nilabas ko ang mask ko. May shop ka na. What
Yes.
age?
Actually, I graduated high school 78. Mga 79, I had a shop already, yes. Because my dad wanted us para to train in entrepreneurship. Okay. So, nung sinabi ko, we want to put up a dress shop, ganyan. Maliit lang naman, no? He was all for it kasi para bang he looked at it as a training ground, how to do business. Because my family ever since were entrepreneurs naman. My grandmother was a businesswoman. She had a children's wear shop ever since. It was just very popular in the 50s and 60s.
Can we talk about that? Because I remember growing up, I was dressed kay Malu Veloso. So, di ba nag-uso ang mga children's wear? Alam mo mga bata, would you believe kids had designer children's wear, di ba?
And actually, children's wear not as we know it today
now,
na T-shirt, denims, and whatever. Ma-fru-fru ang children's wear noon. And I remember that store which my grandmother built was Three Kings, which was in downtown Quiapo.
Okay.
Built started in 1947. And then
Wow!
Marpa Children's Wear, which became very popular in the 50s and 60s, until the 70s actually, which was started in 1956. And that's where she hit it big. But prior to that, kinikwento ng daddy ko na she tried almost everything. Tried selling textile, selling whatever,
So nakita mo
footwear,
ito?
ganyan.
Nakita mo in a way.
Nakwento, and then the children's wear store, of course, naabutan ko pa
Naabutan
yun.
yan.
Because
Okay.
yun ang height nung sa lola ko when she
right.
was alive. And then, it was still very popular kasi at that time, wala naman tayong mall.
Oo, wala talaga.
Wala tayong mall.
Wala.
Ang meron lang siguro, it was Escolta
Yes.
and Araneta
Aguinaldos,
Center.
Araneta
Yes,
Center.
di ba? In Cubao.
Yes, COV.
Yun lang.
Those
But
are-
all the stores were dinadayo.
Yes.
Kumbaga, these were in the suburbs. Even other stores started like that.
Right,
diba?
right.
And it was originally in E. Rodriguez. And in that store was also our old house.
Ay, how nice! How
And
nice.
my dad had his clinic kasi he was a doctor.
Yes.
So, nung high school,
Okay.
I became interested in fashion. Parang tutuwa ako, ay, ganun-ganun. Kami ng sister ko, pati mga cousins ko, isip na, sige, tayo tayo ng dress shop. Maliit lang naman.
Oh my
It started
goodness.
out as Suki Clothier.
Wow. As in Suki, S-U-K-I.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Named after my pet dog. Ganun kami,
Nakakaloka.
naglalaro lang talaga kami.
Oo,
But my
correct.
dad converted his reception
Yeah,
area.
right.
Na malaki naman yung clinic niya doon eh. Hinati niya, binigay niya yung reception area niya na tinayo namin yung shop.
Naloka ako.
Yes, my dad was
it
very
in-
supportive.
It was in your DNA, in a way, di
Yes,
ba?
talaga
Kasi I like,
entrepreneurs.
I have to tell the audience, every time I work with all the designers in Manila, I always start with their childhood. It starts with the childhood, whether it's kumot or editing. Nagsa-start doon. So lahat kayo gusto mag-designer, mag-start kayo ganyan, ha? Nako, wag sa Instagram mo, muna. Di ba, Lito? So, you became a designer. When did you feel that I'm ready for the big time? As Lito Perez.
It really started out as sinay ko, plaything, laro-laro.
Okay.
That was, kakagraduate ko lang ng high school. It's 79 yon more or less. I started, but of course, I finished college muna.
Yeah.
4 years of interior design in UP,
okay.
di ba? After UP, naisip ko, I don't plan naman to work for a company.
Okay.
Di ba? Anyway, my grandmother was an entrepreneur,
Yes,
ganyan.
yeah.
Daddy ko, mama ko, doctor, more or less, they had their own time. Naisip ko, I'd rather
Have my own
continue
business, or
my business
right,
and
right.
do camp. It wasn't Camp Suki yet.
Ano yung
Suki
mamaya,
Clothier,
mamaya.
yes.
Suki Clothier.
Suki
Ay!
Clothier.
Now I
yes.
get it! Pero later pa yun. So
Suki
you started
Clothier,
Suki
yes.
Clothier.
And then, so after college, doon ko naisip, siguro dapat seryosohin ko muna to. Sayang naman, it's there for
Pumapasok
how
ng
many
pera.
years. Yes. Kumbaga how many years nandun na, may clientele na rin ako
Yeah.
kahit papano. But I started out as a regular made-to-order designer.
Okay.
Because at that time, ready-to-wear wasn't
Wala
in.
pa.
yet. Wala pang ready-to-wear.
Ready to wear for everybody is pret-a-porter. Oh,
Yes.
kuha mo yun. Diba?
Wala pa nun.
Wala pa yun.
Okay. So, what happened was na after college, I became more serious. Naisip
Yes.
ko na I should do it full-time. And that's when more or less I started making it, let's just say, my identity
Yes.
as a designer.
As a designer.
Yes. At that time, very in ang Japanese designers. Diba? Sila, Kenzo Katakada,
Yohji
si Issei Miyake,
Yamamoto,
Yohji
Issei
Yamamoto,
Miyake.
yung mga ganyan. And they took Paris by storm.
Yes.
Kaya napakalaking influence sa akin ng Japanese designers.
I saw it. I saw it in your design.
That's why, kumbaga, Suki in itself sounded Japanese.
Oh, God.
In
What's
a
Suki
way.
again in English?
Suki?
Oo, ano ba
Wala,
Suki?
Suki sa Tagalog,
Oo,
Suki.
Oo, pero sa yung Suki yan, di
Diba?
ba? Correct. Oo, God.
And then, sa I used to travel a lot at that time in my younger days. I was inspired by Camp Beverly Hills.
Oh, yes! I
Diba?
remember
It was
that
a new brand in the 80s.
Correct!
It was very chic and
I remember I was 4
funky
years
and cute.
old when Camp Beverly Hills came out.
So, naisip ko, cute ata ko, Camp Suki.
Suki.
And in a way,
Oo.
bumabagay dun sa look ko na parang Japanese na hindi mo maintindihan.
yes.
Diba? That's how I conceptualized it.
So that came Camp Suki.
Yes.
Lito Perez, for all the fashion aficionados and for all the fashion elite, know Lito Perez as Camp Suki.
Yes. That was around 1981.
81 of
Yes.
Camp Suki. Now, what made Camp Suki stand out right away?
My look was different. It was
Okay.
more bent on the Japanese
Okay.
design.
Yes.
And especially during that time na yun ang lumalabas na bagong-bagong concept. And then, 1983, of course, we had the big political upheaval,
Yes, that's
assassination of Ninoy
Aquino,
Aquino.
right.
We all underwent a business recession, di ba? Financially. Naisip ko na at that time, there was a customer of mine who wanted to rent na lang a gown. Kumbaga, at that time, it was made to order. I was made to order. Diba?
Right.
Sinabi niya, rent. Kasi her daughter was just asked to be a sagala. Eh, she didn't want to spend thousands of pesos for a 3-hour affair na after that, tatapon na niya yung gown. So, pwede daw mag-rent siya. Biglang, ting, isip ko, o nga, no? Lalo na at that time. It was a business recession talaga. So, naisip ko, why don't I gather all my other clothes, the costumes, and ganyan, which actually I had from parties, ganyan. Isip ko, pa-rent out ako.
And that is how Camp
That's how
Suki.
Camp Suki, the costume,
We
started.
have to talk about Camp Suki. Why is Camp Suki an iconic Filipino brand? Aminin natin.
Thank you.
Oo. Iconic of Camp Suki. Pag sinabi mo Camp Suki, Lito Perez. Diba? Everyone.
Well, thank you for that. I've been here more than 40 years actually.
Yes.
After all this time.
I know.
Diba?
Bay, nagre-rent pa rin.
Marami pa rin. Yes, marami pa rin. And, kikwento ko nga sa'yo, ang nagpupunta na sa akin, intergenerational.
Oh my God.
That's when I realized ako, tanda na ako.
Hindi naman. Naku, walang tanda-tanda dito ha. We're ageless. We're
I
not
remember
Sam.
a customer of mine approaching me, I used to rent po here, ganyan-ganyan. When I was in Montessori, ganyan-ganyan.
Oh my God, yeah.
You were a teacher? No, I was a student. And dumarating na siya, nire-rent na niya, anak niya.
Anak naman. Camp
Siya at anak
Suki
niya.
is that.
That long.
Diba? I mean,
Ilang
I have to
taon.
tell
Yes.
everybody, especially our audience who was not, into the fashion scene, Camp Suki is actually gowns, costumes, anything that you can rent. Diba? For example, let's talk about this design that you have here, Lito. This design, of course, is from...
Actually, this is my Maria Clara.
Yes.
It's based on a historical Maria Clara, but of
Yes.
course, with my twist of mixing and matching
Right,
patterns,
right.
one on top of the other.
Correct. Camp Suki, of course, we know Camp Suki as the rental fashion area emporium, but you became also known in the Philippines as Lito Perez, the Filipino designer. Why is Filipiniana such a big thing with you?
Well,
Diba, I see this always. Pag kinanyan mo, Lito Perez.
correct.
to eh.
Actually, I really like kasi history.
Okay.
History, and I love antiques. I collect
Right,
antiques.
right.
And ultimately, papunta dyan, I love old houses.
Yes.
Doon ako napunta. And one thing, I always research into history.
Yes.
Kaya when I make my designs, there's always a reference
Yes, there's always
to historical
reference. But
modes.
From Camp Suki, Lito Perez has been that. I mean,
Yes.
when we talk about Filipino designers, I mean, using the word Filipino or Filipiniana, Lito Perez andun na. And now, from the fashion, let's go back now, why we're here in Taal.
Yes.
Tell me about
Okay.
Taal. Because I need to be here in Taal.
Talking about Taal, remember I brought you here years ago.
I
Kasi naisip
know.
ko, it has to be
Pinag-show.
Raymond to do the mutya ng Taal.
Cute.
Because I've always loved old houses.
Yes.
I've loved architecture, whether foreign, Filipino, or what, no? But in the Philippines, ano bang greatest antique architectural gems natin? It's the ancestral houses.
Like this beautiful
Diba?
house here,
At saka,
here now.
the only regret naman I have is, from both sides of my mom and dad, walang natirang ancestral house.
Oh, no.
My grandmother's old house was blew out by a storm in the early 70s.
Oh, no. Was that Yuling? Yuling ba yun?
Hindi ko nga alam kung yuling or what. I was
but
very young.
diba?
So, syempre, wala akong say.
Oo.
But I remember, nagpupunta kami doon. It was in Pampanga, in
Yes.
Guagua. It was an old bahay, kubo na. Pero, ano pa rin, yung nipa siya.
Yes.
Pero sa baba, yung talagang barandillas
Yeah,
and all
I
na
know.
ganyan.
I
It's a
love
very
this house.
old, binagyo pala. I only found out recently, bakit giniba? Binagyo pala. So, my auntie,
Okay.
pinaayos na lang niya, ginawang typical, two-story cement
Yes,
structure,
correct,
which I
correct.
hated from the start.
Oh, no.
Diba? So, nawala yun sa lola ko.
Correct.
My mother's side naman, kwento na they had this big old house in Cabanatuan, ganyan. Pictures ng tatay niya, ng lolo ko daw, laki-laki, ganyan. Nasunog ng gera.
You know, that happened to me. Our ancestral house of my mom in Mati.
This is
in Mati. No, my mom's side, from the Andrada side. The house is also just like this. Nasunog siya on New Year's. New Year's Eve, about 10 years ago.
Only?
Yes.
Sayang.
And it was there since 1925. I
Nasunog
remember. Nasunog New Year's Eve.
sayang.
Yeah. Ay, nako, Dredge. That's why I love old places. I love Taal. And what you did to Villa Tortuga. We have to tell everybody about this place. And if you go to Taal, that's the place to be. In Lito, Perez. Make me kwenta about that.
Okay. So, looking around, naisip ko naman, hindi naman ako ganun kayaman. I don't have the budget to buy an antique house. So, naisip ko, why not rent?
Oh,
Diba?
so correct.
I can play around with it. I don't have to buy it yet.
Yes.
I can start by renting. So, naghanap-hanap ako. The first house I was able to rent was in Vigan. I found a house in Vigan.
I
Kasi
remember that.
at that time, we were always going to Ilocos. Naisip
Yes.
ko, nakita ko Vigan, ganda-ganda ng Vigan. And this was before the tourism craze.
Yes.
Wala pa nagpupunta ng
Wala
Vigan
pa.
nung nakita
I
ko.
remember that house.
I remember na ang ganda-ganda ng mga bahay and it was so
Yeah.
intact.
Correct.
Pero nabubulok.
Yun na nga.
Yun ang,
Yun na nga.
the sad thing about it, it was there, walang pumapansin, walang tao,
Walang
karamihan.
tao, correct.
So, one day, panisip ko, siguro naman one of these houses, makahanap ko. A good friend of mine, the late Ramon Saragosa, who also bought a house in Vigan, invited us there. Tama-tama, sinabi ko, Ramon, hanap mo akong lumang bahay type ko rito sa Vigan. Ayun, he was able to...
When was this?
When was this?
Yes.
Tagal na, parang 15 years
ago. Yeah,
Mga
I
ganun
know.
katagal na.
Because
Or
you
12, 15. Basta ganun
Lito
katagal
Perez
na.
is known
Ever
for
since.
that, for the old homes. Remember, from the kwento from Doll House, Diba? So, from Vigan,
So, I found Arce Mansion.
Yes.
He hooked me up with girly Arce, who was the owner. And then, tamang-tama naman, they just wanted to preserve it, but there was, kumbaga, there was nobody had that time to do it. So, tamang-tama, nag-jive yung concept namin.
Oh,
And then,
okay.
when I finished with that, one thing naman, syempre naman, I had to earn
Yes.
from it. Sayang naman naka-artihan
Oo.
lang. So, I started doing mga costume dinners.
Yes.
You can go there, you can have a dinner, and then
I
magko-costume
love
ka, going
that.
back in time and drama.
Yes.
Okay, after Arce Mansion, medyo, ano na tayo, Makati, ikot-ikot naman dito. Nagsasawa na ako doon ng konti. Naisip ko, ang ganda naman ng Taal. I discovered Taal. Actually, bata pa kami, nagpupunta
Pupunta
na kami
na dito.
rito.
Okay.
So, I was aware of Taal. Naisip ko, one day, let's go with my friends.
Yeah.
Let's drive. Matyaga
Yeah,
ako mag-drive at
oo.
that time. Let's go drive to Taal. I know that kahit 4 hours at that time.
I know.
Diba?
Oo.
So, naisip ko, siguro naman, one house here might be available. I was thinking to myself, no, sa dami ng lumang bahay dito na nakikita ko, wala naman tao.
Correct.
Naisip ko, it's a beautiful town.
Oo.
It's like Vigan, daming old house with a big, beautiful church na napakalaki and
Yes.
preserved. So na serendipity of my old classmate from LaSalle, I just asked him, meron ka bang, out of the blue, I asked him, may alam ka ba na sa Taal na may bahay? Perfect timing. Yung kanyang sister-in-law had aunties who recently inherited
The house.
the house.
Oh my gosh.
Tama-tama, ayun din.
Oh.
They just wanted to preserve, pero wala naman tao doon ng ganun.
Why is it like that? I mean, why do Filipinos or families take care of their homes? Why? Is it the maintenance? Mahal ba yan?
Well, let's just say, kahit papano, they are treated like white elephants, these old ancestral houses, di ba?
I know.
And, well, you can't blame them. Business is in Manila.
Yeah.
They've all studied in Manila.
That's
Everybody's
so true.
living in Manila. They come here, fiestas, or sometimes they don't even come pa nga for
Yes,
fiestas,
I
di
know
ba?
that.
Or they just come pag may relative na
You know,
namatay.
also, Lito, I'll just say, there are some homes in Quiapo that are only
Yes,
open
tama.
once a year.
Correct.
You know that, my friend from they only open once a year and
Yes.
everything. But so it's really hard to maintain.
It's really hard to
diba?
maintain an old house.
Ano? So when you went to Villa Tortuga here in Taal,
Yes.
why did you decide to open it to the public?
As I said, hindi naman ako mayaman na gagawin ko to as a hobby na ano lang. It has to earn naman kahit papano its upkeep, di ba?
So doon tayo papunta na yon,
Yes.
di ba?
So-
Money making. I hope everybody listens to that. It's money making. Lito Perez is a perfect example.
So, naisip ko, I had costumes, I love history. Why don't make a historical luncheon
Yeah.
and tour of the town of Taal?
Wow,
So
that's so
people can go there,
fabulous.
magko-costume,
Yeah.
going back in time in full ambiance,
Yes.
kakain ka with a period setting
I
na naka-costume.
know, naka-costume.
Diba? And you can have a pictorial.
And I know the food is actually also period, di ba? Period. I've done it already. Everyone, you must go to Villa Tortuga if you want to feel the essence of an ilustrado. But for everybody naman yan, di ba?
Yes, it's for everyone.
Diba?
And it's a fun experience, di ba?
Experience,
Especially for
okay.
the younger generation na hindi na naabutan yung having lolas
Yes.
living in this old house or aunties, di ba? Kahit pa paano tayo nakita pa natin na merong ganyan. But it's an experience, di ba?
Correct,
And the town of Taal is very interesting and historical in itself.
in
At
itself.
it's very near Manila.
Correct. It's so fast.
It's so fast.
It's so fast. I left my place and now I'm here right here.
Ang bilis-bilis tayo, 1.5, 2 hours, tapos
you're
dito
here
na
now.
tayo.
But before I used to take Lemery, di ba? Coming here.
But before, nung wala yung expressway
Oo.
na start all,
Correct.
4 hours.
4 hours. So everybody can go to Taal. I'm telling you, come here. That's why we're here right now. Like me, this is my homecoming here in Taal with Lito
Correct.
Perez, di ba?
Remember, di ba, yung mga projects ng early on days natin
yes.
dito.
My goodness, but I see the progress. But the progress of the past and the progress of the present is the progress of the future.
Correct.
Yan ang nakikita natin. And with Lito Perez, I mean, come on, face it, leading the way for
Thank
all
you,
of it.
Raymond.
That makes Lito Perez a zeitgeist, a spirit of the times. Diba?
Very heartwarming.
Diba? I mean, you know, that this program of Absolutely Fab is these individuals, and you're one of them, Lito. You know, you have
Thank you,
inspired us. You know, you've been president of the Fashion Designers Association of the Philippines. You have done Kamsuki is an iconic brand, aminin natin, in the Philippines. And my last question, Lito Perez.
Yes.
What makes you absolutely fab?
Well, I think it's being unique in my design ethos, in my love for history, diba?
Yes.
Which I, as much as possible, I walk the talk.
That's right.
Diba?
I think that's one thing about
Kumbaga, I try to apply it in my everyday life.
life. Correct. That is designer Lito Perez. Thank you, Lito.
Thank you, Raymond.
Thank you so much. When we come back, another designer from up north naman, we'll talk to him when we come back for direction.